Hey everybody, Brandy here doing my comments from my Stampin' Studio. Today I'm going to share with you a Mother's Day card. I'm going to be sharing some beautiful stamps from Pinkfresh Studios and Kathleen Puller. We are going to be using the Emboss Resist technique with clear embossing powder and distressed oxides, as well as using color Copic markers to color in the flower bouquet. I'll share with you all of the supplies I use to make this card so you can recreate it for yourself. Now stick around to the end. I'll be sharing some exciting news with you.
Okay, let's get started. So what we're going to do first is we're going to clear emboss the card front using this large background stamp from Pinkfresh Studio. This particular stamp is called Enchanted Blooms, and I love how pretty it is. And I'm just going to put my cardstock here on my MISTI, put a little piece of adhesive tape and place that on top of the stamp. I'm going to close the MISTI and give it a nice press, and then I'm going to flip that MISTI over. Then that way the card front will stay in place because I've got that little piece of adhesive down. The card front that I'm using is Gina K Designs Blue Lagoon. I'm going to prepare the card front by placing some anti-static powder down, and then I'm going to use my Versamark and ink up the card. I'm going to press down really hard, try to give a good smooth press, but as you know, these stamps are pretty large, and so I'm not sure if I'm going to get full coverage on the first go, and that's the reason why I like using the MISTI, because it's not going to move anywhere, and I can go back and reapply the ink and then take a look at the card front to see what spots are missing. Next, I'm going to apply the clear embossing powder, and I'm using the Hero Arts clear embossing powder. And I'm just going to sprinkle that over the entire card front. What's really nice about using clear embossing powder is that it's going to essentially take up the color that's below it, which in this case is this really pretty turquoise color of Gina K's Blue Lagoon. I'm just going to get the entire card covered, and once I'm done with that, then I use my heating tool to emboss it and make it set up. And the places where your embossing powder is clear is basically going to set up, and it's going to help me when I go to ink blend the card. I do recommend when you're doing this to make sure that you tap off all of the excess powder. You really want to make sure that you've got all that excess powder off, and tapping it tends to be the best method of doing that. Now, because there is a lot of embossing powder on this and I don't want to mess up the design, I'm going to use my little reverse tweezers there and just kind of clip onto the paper while I use my heating tool to kind of set that embossing powder. This way I'm not messing up the design with my fingers, and I'm also able to kind of, move away from the heat tool so I don't burn my fingers as well. Before we get too far into the card, I do want to give a shout out to card maker Kelly Letavola. She recently did a video for Neat and Tangled. She used the same emboss resist technique on her background and used similar colors. She also colored a bouquet of flowers with some Copic markers. And although this card is very similar to it, I did use a different stamp set and a different background, but I just wanted to say thank you to Kelly for her inspiration for this card. And I'll post a link down in the description box to that video as well so you can see where I got my inspiration from. I'm going to be doing some Copic coloring today, and I decided to use this beautiful bouquet of flowers stamp here from Pinkfresh Studio. The stamp set is called Blooming Bouquet, and they have a coordinating die that goes with it. So we're going to be using a technique called resist embossing. And basically what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be ink blending the distressed oxide ink. And the colors that I've decided to use today is Tumble Glass, Mermaid Lagoon, and Salty Ocean. So in the middle of the card, I am using the tumbled glass to kind of give like a vignette look, little bit of a lighter color there. And then I'm blending some of the Mermaid Lagoon around the tumbled glass center part. And then around the very edges, I am using Salty Ocean. I think this looks really great on this colored cardstock, and it makes kind of a vignette look. And I love how the clear embossing powder that is heat setted on the card just sort of stands out against the distressed oxide inks that I'm blending over the card front. So I'm going to color the large flowers first, and I'm going to color it in a blue color. The Copic colors I'm using are BG18, BG13, and B11. I'm going to start out with the darkest color, and I'm going to color on the inside of the flower where I think the darkest part is going to be. And then I'm going to be using just a light touch to do kind of a light flick towards the bottom of the flower and just sort of trace over those lines to tell me where the dark part of the flower is. Next, I'm going to use the BG13, and I'm just going to flick up from that dark color and using that light source coming from the top and kind of blending in those ink colors and just pulling that darker color up with that lighter color. And last here, I'm going to be using the lightest color, which is the B11. And again, just using that flick method to um, take that darker color and blend it up a little bit better. All right, I'll hold the card up a little bit closer to the camera so you can get a better look of all that shading. I'm not sure if these flowers actually come in blue, but I really like the way it looks. Next, we're going to color the daffodils on this bouquet. And the colors that I'm going to be using are Y15, Y06, Y02, and then E13. Just like in the blue flowers, I'm going to use my darkest color, which is the Y15, in the inner part of the flower and around where those lines are for the illustration. Then I'll be using the next lightest color, which is the Y06. And I'm going to be using the same flicking method that I used in the previous flower and just start in that darker color and flick that Y06 up a little bit, leaving a little space for the highlight. Once I've done that, then I'm going to use the Y02 to kind of blend from the Y06 up into the top part of the flowers and along the petals. And then just kind of give it a good blend between the three colors with that Y02. And because these daffodils in real life have a bit of a dark edge to the bottom, I wanted to use the brown color, the E13, to kind of give it some depth. And then I'm going to go back with that lighter yellow color just to try to blend those two in. All right, I'll hold that card up a little bit so you can see the depth with it created when I using that E13 in there. I really think that it makes the daffodil stand out. The last flower to color in are those tiny little bulbs up the top, and I wanted them to be sort of a coral color. So the colors that I chose for this is R24, R15, and R11, starting with that darker color on the bottom, blending that middle color, and then using the lightest color to kind of blend it all together. These bulbs are so teeny tiny that there's not much to do with this, but here you go. Next, I'm going to color the large leaves in the bouquet. And the colors that I'm using here are the YG67, the YG17, and the YG03. Starting with the darkest color towards the base of the leaf, and then using the mid color, which is that YG17, and then finishing it out with the YG03. I really think that coloring it with these different shades of green gives it that realistic look. For the really small leaves that we have left on this card, I wanted them to be of similar shade of green, but not the exact same. So I decided to use the lightest of the trio that I just previously used on the bigger leaves, which was the YG06. And then I used one 2 shades lighter, YG01. These leaves are really, really small, and so there's not a lot of room to get a full tri blend, but I think these colors looked really good on this card. Next, I used the coordinating die to cut that out, and I didn't want the white background to show through. I thought it was a little bit stark against the blue card front, so I decided to color all of that in with a BGO2 color, and I think it blends quite nicely with that tumbled glass uh, ink blending that is on the card front. Off screen, I stamped the sentiment Happy Mother's Day from the Catherine Pooler 1 in a Million stamp set. I did that with embossed white emboss ink, and then I die cutted it with the Hero Arts Infinity Circles. I did that on black cardstock, and then I took a piece of the Gina K Blue Lagoon and then ink blended it to match the card. I used the scrapbook.com sticky squares to adhere that sentiment to its matting frame. The pop-up dots that I'm using for the back of the bouquet is from scrapbook.com, and they have recently come out with this double-sided foam adhesive, and I actually really love it. I love it for a couple of reasons. One is that it's not too tall and it is very sturdy. I know sometimes when I use pop-up dots, it can be a little bit unsecure, or it kind of moves around, or the foam is not dense. This foam is really dense, and so I just sort of pop it up all over that cutout and then just peel the backing paper off and then just place it on the card front. The adhesive that I like to use for my card fronts when I've got a lot of stuff going on in the front is the Tombow Extreme Tape Runner. Now, this used to be a Stampin' Up product, and it was called Fast Fuse, and I absolutely loved it then, but Stampin' Up doesn't sell it anymore, and I was so excited to find out that I could actually buy the refills at Amazon. I'll link down below where you can check that out for yourself, but I really do love this adhesive. It's pretty strong, and once you place it down, your card is not going anywhere. So then I'm just going to pull back the backing tape of those little pop-up dots and then place that down on the card front. I had some leftover coral baker's twine from a previous project that I thought matched those little buds in the flower bouquet so perfectly. So I decided to tie a little bow and then glue that down. I used some Gina K Connect glue and just held a little bit of a drop there, and it held it pretty well. And last, but certainly not least, is the bling that I'm going to put on the card. I'm using the Trinity Stamps Unicorn Tier Rhinestones, and these are so pretty, and I think they match the card so well. I'm using the jewel picker here, and I like to place the jewels down before adhering them just to kind of see where I want my placement. Then once I've got it set, I will use the jewel picker to pick it up and then place a little tiny dot of the Gina K Connect glue down, and then just place that rhinestone right back on top of that.
And there you have it, the beautiful Mother's Day card. I absolutely love the way this came out. All right, let me flip the camera over and let's talk about this exciting news that I have.
Okay, everybody. First of all, I want to apologize for the headgear I've got on, so it never seems to fail. Technology has definitely failed me today, and I have tried all of my microphones. This guy, and nothing's working. So you just have to forgive me my little technical difficulties today. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it has inspired you to create your own card, maybe even a Mother's Day card, utilizing the techniques that I've shared with you today. Now don't forget, Mother's Day is coming up soon, so you want to make sure that you get your Mother's Day card made as soon as possible. Okay, so here is the exciting news. I am so excited about it, I can barely stand myself. A couple of weeks ago, I launched my very own crafty online school. I'm so proud of it. It's called Stamp Me Some Love Academy, and I created it for you. It's a place for you to get together and either watch pre-recorded classes and learn step by step how to create the beautiful cards that I'm going to be sharing with you. Or you can participate in a live virtual card making class. It's just like getting together with your crafty BFFs, only it's over the internet, and you get to see me as I go step by step. There's not going to be any fast forwarding of the video. You're going to be seeing me do it as I do it. My next live virtual card making class is going to be May 16th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a place where we're going to get together over Zoom and make some cards. This particular card class is going to be focusing on foil techniques. I'm going to post the link down below in the description box, or the blog post, or the Facebook post, or wherever you're viewing this video, so you can get information on that next class. And as a special subscriber of mine, I'm going to give you a special promo code, but you got to do a couple things for me. One, you've got to hit the like button on my video here. Please do consider subscribing. And then I want you to DM me on my Facebook page. And that's at facebook.com/stampmesomelove. Once you go there, put in the email or the direct message saying, I want the special promo code. And then I will share with you a special promo code for you to use to get a discount on our upcoming virtual card making class. I can't wait, and I'm so excited to have you join me as we just basically create cards together. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and we can still use our social distancing guidelines intact. If you found this video helpful, please do me a big old favor and give me a thumbs up. Comment down below and then consider sharing this on your social media platforms. This helps me because then it tells the YouTube gods in the universe out there that my videos are valuable. It helps me tremendously, and I appreciate your support. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. That way you get notified every time I upload a new video. Life happens, I comment, stamp me some love, and I'll see you in the next video.